I'm an HR executive, and a lot of times I have people coming to me getting ready to put in their resignation. They're fed up with whatever's going on. And I had Sarah, a senior leader, who was one of our top talent that was basically a huge retention risk. Now, for those that are in management or leadership, think to yourself, what's the number one reason why people leave organizations? Now, I've done all the research. I've read all the different articles. I also know what they say. They say the number one reason is the manager. But I'm going to walk you through this, and I want to challenge, because I'm telling you, the number one reason why people leave organizations is not the manager. It's not what you think. Let's go through Sarah's thought download. So we've talked a lot about doing a thought download. These were the things that Sarah, just when she was getting out whatever's going through her mind, these are the type of stuff that she either wrote on paper or that she was talking to me about. And I'll go ahead and quote it. My manager is making me so mad. He's one of the worst leaders I've ever had, and I can't work with him anymore. He's always saying what isn't working or what I did wrong and doesn't recognize all the good. He even said, Sarah, you're not good at your job. After such a great year, he gave me a block 5 rating. I didn't get near enough merit or bonus. My merit was 1%. I was expecting 2%. So I want you to look at this thought download and start thinking to yourself, what are the circumstances, those neutral facts outside of Sarah's control, and what are the beliefs, the thoughts that Sarah's choosing to think, the stories she's telling herself in her mind? For those of you not familiar with the 9-block rating, every company does it a little bit differently. For this company, they had a results axis and a behaviors axis. And there was 9 different blocks, either exceeds, meet, or below standards. So block 5 rating was basically saying you're in the middle, which is still meeting a very high bar, but she thought she was exceeding results and behaviors, not just meeting them. But where do you think? Where are the neutral facts? Here's one, my manager. Sarah had a manager. That is a neutral fact. But he's making me so mad. No matter how much she believes it's true, that's still a thought she's choosing to believe. He's one of the worst leaders I've ever had. Now, some of you might be thinking, no, but it's true. It's confirmed by everyone in the organization. He is the worst leader. Even if other people believe the same thing, it doesn't mean that it's a neutral fact. It just means that they are joining in on collectively believing that belief. In order for it to be a neutral fact, it has to be true for everyone in any situation and have no emotional or adjective attached to it. So calling it, he's the worst, or any type of judgment, you now know it's no longer a neutral fact, it's a belief. What about, he said, Sarah, you're not good at your job. Now this one, I would give it to her. This is a circumstance because it's the quote, word for word, what he said. Remember, circumstance can be what other people say or what other people do. So if you use the exact quotes, that works. That's a neutral fact that simply happened. It could be proven in a court of law that he said those different words. And then the last one was my merit, or basically the increase that she got in her compensation was 1%. Those are the only facts. Everything else is just drama. It's stories that Sarah is telling herself in her brain. And the power of this is knowing if it's not a circumstance, you take back control of deciding, is that serving me? And do I want to keep thinking that? You can't control your circumstances, but you can control the thoughts or the stories that you choose to believe. And people, thoughts or beliefs are optional. Have you ever been told that before? Let's say you're struggling with cancer right now and you're thinking, I hate having cancer. Did you know that even that is a thought you're choosing to believe? Now, I'm not saying don't believe it. I'm not saying only believe thoughts that make you feel like fairies and butterflies all the time. No. In fact, a good portion of this life is not to feel these amazing feelings all the different time. There's a good portion of this life where you do have those negative emotions. So I'm not trying to say only believe thoughts that will make you feel happy. No, it's better than that. I'm saying sometimes you're going to sit in those feelings that don't feel good, like going after a goal. You would think that if I make a big goal or if I have a big dream, I'm going to feel so excited and wake up excited every single day. No. Remember, your brain wants to avoid things that make you feel uncomfortable. Growing, changing, putting yourself out there, that all feels uncomfortable. So your brain's going to naturally tell you, don't go there. I don't want to feel that. So you have to intentionally set yourself to be able to go after feeling uncomfortable, to put off that pleasure sometimes, to go through what's really needed to get the results that you really want. All right, so let's help Sarah to first see her bear and then to help her to bear up. Now, when you're running a model, you can start anywhere. After you get that thought download, you can either take just one of those one sentence thoughts and plug it into the belief, or you can take the emotion, or you can take the result, or you can take the action. You can start anywhere. But let's start with her feeling. So when Sarah came to me, she said, Joe, I'm just so frustrated. I'm so mad. So we could start there. So where would you place mad? Mad is an emotion. She's feeling mad. She's feeling frustrated. So then I would ask her, okay, Sarah, what is causing you to feel mad? Now, this is the part where she would tell me, it's my boss. My boss is driving me crazy. The boss said, you're not good at your job. Of course, that's going to make me feel mad. But I want you to think of it this way. If other people can control how you feel, then you're dependent upon them changing in order for you to feel better. You give up all of your power. The beautiful thing about the bear model is that other people and what they say and what they do are a neutral circumstance. You take back the power by deciding how you want to react to that. What do you think? Now that you know the model, where would you put the boss? So in this example, I would say the boss, what he said, it's a circumstance. The boss said, you're not good at your job. Now, I know some of you are looking at my handwriting and saying, that is beautiful. Will you teach me calligraphy? Yes. We'll do that another time. I'm working on it, my penmanship. But notice the difference here. Other people can't make you feel mad. They can't make you feel happy. So many times we think, oh, I will only be happy if my boss changes, if I get that six pack or I lose 50 pounds, if I have more zeros in my bank account. And so happiness or whatever feeling that you're after is always a circumstance or a thing away. But y'all, I'm here to tell you, circumstances do not change or affect how you feel. They're neutral. Take back the power. The beliefs that you choose to think about yourself, about others, about what the past was, the current is, or the future can be, that is how you change how you feel. That is how you feel better. That is how you get the results that you really want. So going back to Sarah, I would ask her, okay, when your boss says that, what thoughts are you thinking? Remember her thought download? It had all the different things, but in the moment, I really wanted to think about, okay, he just barely said that. What am I thinking? And she said things like, I just feel like I'm not valued here. Notice once again, she says, I feel, but is that really an emotion? No. The only emotion is a one word vibration in your body. She was just covering it up with a thought. So her thought was, not valued here. So we could run a model on that one. Another thought that she had was, he thinks I'm not capable. Now, when she said he thinks I'm not capable, that's something that I want to double click or dive into a little bit deeper. And once again, I use the famous two words, so what? I know that sounds like I'm not being empathetic, but I'm doing the exact opposite. By asking, so what? I'm doing the most beneficial to her because I'm helping her understand that root cause thought. So when I asked her, okay, why does it matter that he thinks you're not capable? What it really came down to was that Sarah herself had a deep belief that she's not capable, that she's not enough. And so when he was saying that, it triggered that own belief about herself that she had. Now, Brooke Castillo, as I mentioned, she's the main creator of the CTFAR model, which is similar, and in fact, what I pulled a lot from the bear model. But she had a great analogy. She calls it the blue hair. If let's say, I don't have blue hair. Let's say someone comes up to me and says, hey, Joe, I hate your blue hair. Would that bother me? No. Why? Because I simply don't have a belief that I have blue hair. So I look at them and be like, I don't have blue hair. it rolls off my shoulders. I don't even think about it. But if they had a comment that did hurt me, it wasn't their comment that was hurting me. It was because more than likely I have a belief within my own about whatever they said. Because if I didn't have blue hair, it wouldn't bother me. So if he says, Joe, you have blue hair, not an issue. But if he says, Joe, you're not capable, and that bothered me, it's probably because I have one of that beliefs about myself. So let's write it down. I'm not capable. I'm not enough. So when she's thinking that way, and instead of mad, even though she initially said mad, when she's thinking that thought, it was actually more of hurt, offended, insecure. So when she's feeling that way, hurt, offended, insecure, what does she do or not do? Now, I can tell you, she's not going to go out of her way to show up. She's not going to go out of her way to be her best. So when she repeatedly isn't showing up as her best at work, she's not taking the actions, maybe she gets the email from him and she delays it a little bit. There's going to be a whole lot of action and inaction that's going on here while she's feeling that way. So what's the result? Remember, the result should always prove back the belief. The other key thing about the result is it should be within the control of that individual. So anytime that you have a result that includes other people, hold up, back up. The result is always within the control of what you can do, relates to your belief. So the result here is she was initially upset that her boss wasn't valuing her, but what was she really doing? Sarah wasn't valuing herself. She shows up as incapable. So you can see that Sarah not showing up as capable and not valuing her own self proves back her own thought of saying, I'm not capable, I'm not enough. So you can see it wasn't the manager or the boss that was causing her to want to quit. It was her own thoughts regarding the boss. So I mentioned it earlier, the number one reason why people leave organizations is not what you think, it's what they think. Now, don't get me wrong. They could still have bad bosses, bad cultures, all of that stuff. And I'm not saying that we would still try to change and help that boss or help improve that culture. But what I am saying is by changing her own beliefs about that boss, about that culture, she takes back control for how she wants to feel. And then eventually she can decide, you know what? Yes, I know I can do the mind work and be okay, but this isn't a boss or a culture I want to work with anymore. Peace. Part ways at that time, but don't do it while you're feeling insecure, mad, and upset. All right, so knowing what you know now, how would you help Sarah to bear up? Now, so many leaders, when they're trying to help somebody else or even coach them or give feedback, they focus on the action line. They focus on, okay, Sarah's not showing up, so I'm going to go tell her this is not meeting my expectation, change this behavior, do this. Now, I'm not saying don't do that, but remember Ignaz Semmelweis, solve for the root cause and not for the symptoms. Her actions are just a symptom. The root cause are the different beliefs of I'm not capable, I'm not enough. So if I'm going to do real leadership, which is intentional influence, I'm going to help Sarah to bear up by helping her to think differently about those three beliefs. Beliefs about herself, beliefs about others, beliefs about what the past was, the current is, and the future can be. So when I'm looking at Sarah, I could start when I bear up at any of the different bear models. So I could say, okay, Sarah, what results do you want? And then we'd put them in the R line. Or I can say, okay, Sarah, how do you want to feel? The circumstance is the same. So notice I'm not even changing the circumstance in my bear models because I want to show that without changing the circumstance, you can have a completely different result just by starting by changing your beliefs. So Sarah, the next time your boss says you're not good at your job, how do you want to feel? What do you want to think? What actions do you want to take? What results do you want? And we'd fill in her bear model. And we'd help her to ladder up her thoughts. So similar to our example of I hate my job to I love my job, I can't just immediately say, okay, Sarah, just believe I am enough. I am valuable. Now, if she can do that, great. But in order for it to be a belief that works, two things. Remember, it has to feel good to think, and you have to actually believe it. So we might have to ladder up. So I would choose more empowering thoughts like, I control if I'm of value. Even just saying that, I control if I'm of value, gives her a different feeling. So he can say what he wants, but that doesn't mean she has to feel unvalued. She's going to have to work up that confidence. Another thought that I give Sarah as she's trying to ladder up or bridge her thoughts is to simply add on the phrase, I'm just thinking a thought. So for example, I'm just thinking a thought that I'm not capable. I'm just thinking a thought that I'm not enough. You notice that small difference? It helps her take back control to realize, okay, it's just a thought. So if it's just a thought, that means I could change it. Maybe you add, it's possible that I could be of value. You can see over time, we're going to do that. We'll have whole episodes and podcasts and coaching around how do you ladder up, but I'm trying to give you a general understanding of what is the bear model.